that for us, perhaps our exodus has been an exodus from slavery. And has been an exodus from those things that we find to be oppressive. And clearly, when we weigh in on that particular issue, it takes on totally different understanding of how we see God.
Western tradition tend to be linear way of thinking, so beginning and the end and so forth. But in terms of Buddhism, like a circle, circle and linear line is very different in nature, and so.
Hebrew Bible in English is a translation, and the word fear is exactly where we run into one of those great problems. Because the Hebrew word is yirah. And yirah sometimes is translated as fear, but it's really not the fear, like terrible, terrifying paralysis of fear. The word is actually pachad for that. The word yirah is very similar to the word re'eh, which means to see. And really comes down to more to your second meaning, which you spoke of all of awareness, to be able to see God, which really does not translate well into the English word fear. It's probably a gift from the translators of the King James Bible that has kept within us. And I want to start there because it creates all sorts of misunderstandings of what's in Jewish sacred text. We run into the problem of, the Old Testament is the God of vengeance and evil and doing all, like throwing thunderbolts and blasting and sending plagues, 10 plagues here, a flood over there. And it kind of gets a bad rap because of this. And the Christian is one of love and justice and all that. And the reality is, it's for those who've read the Bibles and studied, it's a misreading of both. The reality is comes to our understanding of God. And I'll begin. If we accept for a second, there is an ontological truth of God. There's something outside. It's not a projection of our hopes, fears, desires, and bad upbringing that creates this concept of God, but it really actually is an objective truth out there of some form. Realizes that we have to have some level of ontological humility. We're really not going to grasp the truth. You bring up a great point. The laws of economics are really at the root of uncertainty. Much of our fiscal crisis, my other hat I wear is accounting and financial management. So a lot of the truths that we thought how we could control the markets and understand how to get rid of risk turned out to really basically bite us in a way and hurt us in a way because we really had very little understanding. And those who made bets based on a perceived understanding caused all sorts of problems, which we're still trying to get out of. The issue of ontological humility is we see a world that we don't quite know what to do with. There is truth out there we cannot grasp or totally control it. And let's go back to those who kind of admit they don't, which is our kids. And I'll tell you two wonderful stories with my kids. When my daughter was 2 years old, my wife was walking near our house, and there was an airplane in the sky. We live in New Jersey, right on the flight path from Newark Airport. And she said, "Oh, is that God?" Now, think about that for a second. For a moment, my daughter saw God. Of course, as what adults we did, we abused her of any notion of that, and But that was an amazing moment because understanding that God is something high up there and great, and that was high up there and great. So there was a moment of understanding God. My daughter, next year, we were talking, was looking at clouds and describing the feelings that clouds must be exhibiting. That's an angry cloud, a happy cloud. Obviously, what we were doing in a certain sense was projecting our feelings onto something that's outside of ourselves. Many ways our understanding of God is exactly that. We don't understand God. By definition, we can't. God's infinite universal, we're not.